It's that time of the week again. It's Thursday. It's 9 p.m. It's UK Cowboys TV. We are now. We're flying through these boys. Season's 3, episode 29, so 159 in total.
157. I think it's 157. I think.
Is it 157? Oh, then I'll blame Mike then because Mike set it up. So 157. Cheers for that, Paul. So tonight, unfortunately, you've got me in the host chair with in the host chair, just checking Mike's chair tonight. He's a little bit under the weather, but we've got two boys from Scotland defending the North.
Oof!
Paul and Lorne, how you doing, brothers? My co-hosts for the tonight.
We're good, man. Good, man.
Yeah.
Before we started the show, Lauren was informing me like how we're going to we could potentially clinch the division this weekend. So
yeah,
interesting.
How about you? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing okay. I mean, I'm celebrating a bit today. This is 42 years I've been following the Cowboys now. So, as of today, thank you. So, 4 years old, Texas Stadium, Washington Redskins, Cowboys. And it's, as I say, it's the one that, is on the highlight reels where everybody Staubach brings the game back. Oh, have I frozen or?
No. I'm just shocked with DJ Dog's comment here. So, sorry to steal your thunder there, Lorne. Like that's massive news.
Yes. Yeah, that was talked about that he was going to be out for a couple of weeks. Yesterday, I think I'd seen something, but obviously surgery. That means he's going to be out longer. So and I mean if we carry on, I mean this could be, if results play into our hands, we could actually still be going for number 1 seed as well. So
who knows, man? But fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We just need to think about this game alone. Then if we win, hopefully we do, then on to the next one. We can't think too far ahead on this.
Yeah, exactly. So tonight, we're gonna preview the upcoming game this weekend. Giants on the road, up at MetLife.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people.
We'll get into that a little bit later on. But so last time out for the Giants, lost away at the Chargers, 31-27. All-time record between the Cowboys and the Giants. I would be surprised about this, to be fair, is 70-47 and 2 in favor of the Cowboys. And the biggest victory, I'll let you have a guess. We'll start early. So the biggest victory, what do you reckon it is, and what year is it from?
I'm going to say from the Staubach era. I think it was probably the biggest victory before LT arrived. Yeah, I'll say.
Not the year. I don't know if he played in all the year. So that's pretty crappy of me. That's my great.
Yeah, I'll go 78.
Yeah, I was thinking 77, 78.
And I'll say, I don't know, 21 point margin.
You reckon, Paul? What margin are you going for?
27.
I tell you what, in terms of years, you're both miles off, and in terms of the split for the scoreline as well. The biggest victory came in 1966 for the Cowboys.
Well, we knew it was early. We knew it was going to.
But you guys were saying the 70s. Come on, you can't.
Come on.
Come on, Jimmy. You got out from me, are you? And the big and the scoreline, right? So I got the Giants scored 7 points that game. Cowboys scored 52. Yeah. Talk about an ass kicking or what? Could do some of that this week.
Yeah, definitely.
We could definitely do. And looking at their injury report, and I think they've also got a few guys on COVID as well. But their injury report's looking not very good for them as well. So
especially Mike Glenn is now starting this weekend as well.
Yeah, and you got five guys who didn't participate today in practice. Saquon Barkley didn't practice yesterday, but was limited today. Daniel Jones, obviously, his neck, he's been limited the last 2 days, so they reckon it's, they've all but said it's going to be Glennon, but there is still a good chance that Daniel Jones might be an emergency quarterback, if nothing else. And then the big one for us, I think, is Leonard Williams, the defensive tackle. He's got a triceps injury and he's limited at the moment, so he'll be questionable for.
I'm not gonna lie, Lauren. When I heard about Leonard Williams, that will definitely take the pressure off in our offensive line interior, especially on Bayadish and on whoever it's. I think it's safe to say it's now going to be Connor Williams starting this weekend.
Yeah.
So that is going to ease the pressure off and might actually help elevate the run game this weekend. So when it comes to projecting fantasy, I would expect us to kind of really make a better stride this weekend when it comes to the run game.
Yeah.
So you two were, to be fair, you two were a bit, I say PC on this, because I was going to say that the injury list for the Giants it looks as poor as their roster, but that's probably a bad thing for me to say. That isn't the ask on Sunday.
Even though they're a rival, I'm trying to be respectful at the same time, because at the same time, I don't, unless it's the Eagles, that's the only team I would ever bash really to my grave. But I think everything here is gonna, like, this game alone, we need to really come out guns blazing, regardless how many injuries they've got. We need to set an example why we're leading our division. What Dak needs to prove himself to get out of this mindset where it's been really hot and cold for the past 4 games, essentially. And we need to kind of get that ball rolling again, because we had a fantastic start to the season. The mid part of the season, it's hot and cold, like I said, hot and cold. And what way to do it is against a team, even though it's the Giants, and this is no disrespect to them, but we need to really make a mockery of them in their own stadium. So we do.
Yeah. I mean, obviously this is a divisional game, and divisional games, I mean, you only have to look back to the Minnesota-Detroit Lions game this a couple of weeks back. Anything can happen in divisional games, and the form book goes out the window. But yeah, as Paul says, we really need to, go for the jugular this week, and once they're down, you don't, or once they're backed into a corner, you don't take your foot off. You continue until the final whistle, because I mean, we almost let the Washington football team back in last week. Dak, I think if you saw the 2 interceptions that he threw, he didn't plant his foot, and I think that again it's that same foot that he injured in the New England game, and I think there's something still bothering him, and again whether that's also sort of affecting his confidence. That this should be a good game, I think, with the pieces that are missing for New York. I think this should be a good game for Dak to try and get himself back on track and build some momentum for the postseason.
I just want to bring up this comment from Joe. Greetings from Italy, good sir. Good to see you coming back. David Ironside, good to see you coming back. DJ Dodd, all the regulars coming back on the show. But Dak and the offensive need to prove a point, so I see a high score from offense. It's like, what I will say about that comment is we do need to prove a point. As long as we're efficient and we don't necessarily need to put a high score on the board. As long as we're not dropping passes, we're not making mistakes, like that's the thing I'm more keyed on for, is the process of elimination from making bad judgment calls on reads and whatever that. Like, as long as we're efficient and effective, we'll win the game from the offense. That's the that will, like, whatever that scoreline will be, that will pass on whether that storyline maybe 24, maybe 48. We might actually destroy the Giants by 60. Who knows? But as long as we're being effective and cutting out the mistakes from the previous games, that's the thing I'm looking out for the most.
I think you got to add to that as well. I think a bit more of a polished performance from Dak as well. Like I say, and that's not
exactly that's what I'm kind of getting at there, Jamie.
Like I say, he's the quarterback in it. All the game will run through Dak. So, like I say, he knows he's obviously not playing well, but I think what's helping is that the minute he's like, say, I think looking back through previous Cowboys teams, is that if you get poor play from the quarterback, the rest of the team kind of suffers, and the defense has really stepped up this year. And I think it's going to be intriguing. Like I say, not to disrespect Mike Glennon, because he's obviously not the starting quarterback, but this is the perfect kind of game for the defense to stamp authority again on the way they played this year. I don't know what you guys think.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when you think that Kadarius Toney's on injured reserve, and he was their one major weapon in the game at Texas Stadium, right up until he got ejected for what was it, unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah.
And Golladay's hasn't really done anything this year, to be honest. I think their one big weapon is Barkley, and Barkley's limited as well, the same way Zeke is in some respects as well. So
what did I say about Kenny Golladay? Overpriced as fuck.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but like it sucks to be you, Giants fans. You know what? I'm gonna bash. He's like we warned you that Golladay was a pure like he didn't like he was a second wide receiver pretty much his whole career at Detroit. And you're paying him wide receiver number one money, and he's not producing it. That's because he's not a number one wide receiver. So go figure. So you're absolutely spot on there, Lon.
Yep.
But yeah, so what we'll do, so then I said before we swing into the news, so everybody watching, get your comments in to the guys. I mean, any comments, any questions, join in. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts? What's your hopes for the game? So yeah, so we'll swing into the news, and we'll talk about how the Cowboys can clinch this week as well.
We'll play the video.
So just a couple of bits coming out that I quickly looked upon. Tony Pollard with his foot injury, he's been expected to practice this week. He's practiced, but only lightly, which is obviously is sensible. There's no point chucking him in there full blown. From what I've seen, Zeke's practiced in full, which, considering he's carrying some niggles, is good. But then that's Zeke. Zeke is Zeke. As one of the commentators said the other night, he's earned the right to play injured. Hopefully, it's not something that will keep him out of the playoffs when we get there. So that's looking good on that sense. Jerry Jones was interviewed the other day, and I think we all know it. From how the injury went off, Tyron Smith's going to be out this weekend, and Terrence Steele is likely to play at left tackle, which then means more than likely, I would imagine, I don't know what you guys think, Connor Williams will probably play at left guard. And then probably the only other, actually, last bit of Cowboys news, and I think it broke earlier on today, didn't it? The Cowboys game against the Cardinals on the 2nd of January has been flexed from a 6 p.m. UK time to 9:25 p.m., which would suggest to me, I don't know, is that it's probably going to be on TV at this end of the world. And then the only other bit of news before we jump obviously into how the Cowboys can clinch this weekend is the NFL announced yesterday the licenses for the new international territories kind of thing. What's it called now?
I have no idea what it is, but what I will say, I think it's the biggest pile of shit ever.
To be fair, I never even heard of this before, and so I scan on it. And
the reason I'm saying that, the reason I'm saying that, James, because we're as UK Cowboys, like we're probably legitimate, the biggest fan group in the UK, easily. Like,
yeah.
And you've got Jacksonville, Miami, teams you don't necessarily care about from the 90s onwards.
Yeah. So basically what it is it allows teams to access the international territories for marketing, fan engagement, and commercialization to promote their brand. And the Cowboys chose Mexico.
But what I will say, the Mexico thing, I totally understand that, because Mexico is a massive Cowboys market, massive.
Yeah.
And
you look
at Isaac Alarcon, for example, like that's how they got him and stuff like that, even though it's part of the whole international program, etc. But in terms of the market, there's nothing there to market Cowboys besides actual Cowboys coming from the actual coming over the border for the game. Like the amount of people that was there for the Thanksgiving game that actually traveled from all the way from Mexico to that game was ridiculous. I was so obviously I was sitting beside Kelsey during the game, but after I think it was like the third quarter, after halftime, I made my way down to the standing area, like the standing section only, and obviously people were just chatting away to me, it's like blah blah blah, and that's where I got to meet other people, and it's like, oh yeah, we came all the way from such and such from Mexico. I was like, wow, Jesus man, you drove up? I said, no, we flew and stuff like that. So there's a big market there. It's the same with like California in terms of like the Cowboys as well. So completely understand. Like I'm just shocked the fact that we didn't get the UK in there for us, because especially with our relations with the Cowboys media, I think that was a quite bit of a big surprise.
I think when you look at them geographically, if you actually look, the teams that were assigned to Mexico, they all seem to be almost straight up from Mexico, because you got Houston, you got Kansas City, you've got Dallas. I think you've even got Denver as well as
it's
one
more
of those.
It's that straight line from Colorado to Texas down. That's like right down to the central coast of America. But I don't know.
And then Australia have only got the Rams, so
that again makes sense, because that's probably the closest. I would have thought
closest jumping off point. Yeah,
I would have thought Japan would have been one of them, to be honest. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Jacksonville have two continents or two countries? I'm pretty sure they do, and Miami. I think they're the two. I think they're the only two teams that have actually got two. Like they've got the UK and they've got somewhere else. I'm certain of it.
Let's have a look. I'll have a quick look. But yeah, so just because you mentioned it, so we touched on the UK got the Bears, the Jags, the Dolphins, the Vikings, the Jets, and the Niners. I know this is obviously a Cowboys show, but which one of those ones excites you the most?
The Vikings, probably. I would say. I would say the Vikings. I think they bring something different to the table in terms of atmosphere, fan engagement, and that as well. You could say Chicago, you could say them, but none of the other teams don't really stand out to me at all.
So the Bears and the Dolphins also got Spain, as you mentioned. The Rams got China. Let's have a look. Flying across, the Dolphins got Brazil. The Niners also have got Mexico, and then the Vikings got Canada.
There's got to be missing teams there.
No, I'm saying there's the split, but I was just talking more because you mentioned.
No, what I mean is, I don't think every single team got a country. Is that right?
Let's have a look. So we got Canada got the Vikings and the Seahawks. Mexico was the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Texans, Chiefs, Raiders, Rams, Steelers, and the Niners. Brazil got Miami. We got the Bears, Jags, Dolphins, Vikings, Jets, and Niners. Germany got the Panthers, Chiefs, Patriots, and the Bucks. China got the Rams. Spain got the Bears and the Dolphins, and as Lauren mentioned, the Rams got Australia as well. So I'm more shocked that it's not more split across Europe. To be fair,
correct me if I'm wrong, but was it any mention like the Lions, for example? I don't even think they were mentioned, were they?
There's not even. Yeah, to be fair, there's not because the Giants are there, the Eagles.
Well, there we go. That actually makes me happy. Actually,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I know, Joe. I know, but I'm just saying what for thought. Like, is the whole NFL is supposed to be that transparent sport of professionalism? It's supposed to be shared all across the board. Clearly, it's not.
Yeah,
so
no Packers either, which is a surprise. One of the biggest marketing teams.
Yeah, it's basically whatever team like is paying more money to get their name out there, and clearly that Jacksonville and Miami are trying to really boost up their marketing, pretty much. Like, so.
Well, they could start by getting a good coach.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, in case no one's aware, Urban Meyer got released by the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is not a surprise to anyone.
I'll tell you what. Did you read some of the shit that happened over there, Mike?
I heard. Especially to the kicker Lambo, he's like calling him a dipshit and all that stuff, and actually kicked him in the leg.
One of the ones that shocked me, well, two actually, to be fair, was he slagged off his coaching staff, didn't he? Saying that
he did, yeah.
Was it Albany State? I could be wrong. Saying that his coaching staff from Albany State, that I say could be wrong. They were better than him, and also he pretty much come out and openly criticised the picking of Travis Sent at the end, and he actually come out and said that I was hoping to take Kadarius Toney, which isn't really good, is it? Slagging off your first round pick like that.
Yeah, it's not professional.
Yeah,
like I know, like we're kind of drifting off course from talking about the Giants here, but what I will say is, like, you can't have your head coach slating players like that. They should be there as your mentors, your support group, there to help elevate you, not to kick you when you're down by any means. That to me is not, like, he is not a freaking coach, in my opinion. Like, coaches are coaches, yeah, they're supposed to get in your face, but they're supposed to bring the best out of you, not to absolutely scrutinize you out in the public like that. So good riddance to Urban Meyer, because he's not fit for the professional.
Exactly.
Like, you can go back to high school football or whatever. He is not cut for the NFL. So good riddance. But
so swiftly moving on. So before we actually get on and talk about the offense and talk about where this game is going to be won and lost, as we said earlier on, it's clinch week. So does everybody want to grab the pens, want to get some painkillers for the headaches? Because this is going to, we were baffled before, weren't we? Hold
on. I'll get Notepad open.
Ready? Yeah, let's take some notes. So here we go. So
sorry, Jamie. Lawrence just disappeared for a wee second. So
yeah, no.
So we'll go ahead.
Yeah, we'll crack on while Lon comes back in.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys can actually, apart from clinching the division this week, they can clinch a playoff spot, but a crap load's got to happen. So we'll go with the easier one. So here we go. Yeah. So ready, pens at the ready. The Cowboys can clinch the division this week if we win and the Eagles and the Washington tie, or the Cowboys win and Washington lose, because Cowboys have a strength of victory tiebreak over the Eagles. Sounds pretty simple. Like you mentioned earlier, look after yourselves and then everything else will fall into place.
Because I posted a tweet out asking Cowboys Nation, it's like, sure, like, I wasn't sure at first, and when someone commented on, well, Eagles and Washington are playing each other, and I thought, oh, well, okay, we'll win the week after when we play Washington again. But it was unaware to me that there was the tiebreaker situation. So, so never in my life I would actually cheer on the blood. Is it? We need the Eagles to win.
We do, yeah.
Oh God, really?
Saying that though, we can. Saying that though, if you don't want to do that, we actually if they tie the game. I know that's very rare in the NFL.
It's very rare, but I don't see it happening. I can see Washington actually beat Philadelphia, to be honest. Like, Jalen Hurts is doing absolutely god awful, my personal opinion. I trash team, trash organization. That's all I will say about that. And I'm sorry if there's any Eagles fans out there watching. I don't care. Screw you.
And to be fair, as Mike McCarthy kind of brushed it off a little bit in his presser. I think it was either today or yesterday. And to be fair, it's still, because like you say, you don't really want to put a lot of pressure on the teams, do they? But he's like, well, it's 10 wins, which if it doesn't happen this week, we can't clinch. So, like you said, look after his own.
Either way, like the guaranteed we need is 2 wins. That's the guaranteed to clinch a playoff spot. It's 2 wins. If we can get more than that, that just helps us elevate to potentially get a higher seed, a better chance of maybe avoiding certain teams, like, for example, the Rams or the Packers or something like that. That might actually help us going forward.
I think also the result of the Philadelphia-Washington game, if Philadelphia win, I think Washington are home. They're eliminated from playoff contention.
Because of their tiebreaker as well.
Yeah,
right.
Because the likelihood is that they won't get the 7th seed or.
I don't know if you were I don't know if you could hear in what me and Jamie were saying, because I never thought like I would actually want the Eagles to win for the first time.
I know. Meg's going to have to change her.
No. For Philly for never. That's it.
And then what is it?
Hey, listen, I will call Meg. I will call her and tell her that you said that.
I'm just saying, for 1 week she's going to have to do that.
Yeah, kind of asterisks apart from this week when we would like them to help us clinch. But you could always flip it on the other side, and the Eagles fans then could be twats about it and say, well, actually, we didn't clinch ourselves. So it's like, well, do we really want, like you say, Washington to win, and we just do it ourselves next week, and nobody can sit there and say that.
I would rather just us focus on us and like let things just take care of it for itself. Like
11 and we're in.
Think about this game against the Giants. Go out there, be solid, cut out the mistakes, win, and take that momentum, and even embarrass Washington even more at home. And that's when we guarantee the NFC to East. That's the way we should do it.
I mean, we really, as we were saying as well, with the whole reason why the Cardinals game has been flexed to the 9:25, 3:25 USA time, 9:25 our time, is that obviously this has a bearing that we could actually be going into that, and the winner of that gets the number 1 seed for the playoffs.
Yeah,
that basically requires that we win out, and and obviously Cardinals lose. I think we need the Packers to lose as well.
Yeah, I think it was Joe that commented about that actually. Let me just check. So hopefully Baltimore can beat Green Bay if Lamar Jackson plays. Yeah, so that was the comment. So yeah, that would help us as well, kind of like spread out the conference a bit more. I mean, because so far it's been Cardinals and Green Bay from the get-go all season, but they're starting to kind of dip down ever so slightly now, like kind of like us in a way. So I think the number, like, there's pretty much there's a very good chance that we could potentially get that number 1 seed spot. But again, I don't want to think too far ahead on that. Like, I'm more focused on making sure that we just cut out the mistakes, like, because everyone was like, in fact, actually, I'm going to use what J Tuck used in one of his videos last night, and I thought this was a great take on the game last week against Washington. It's like, think of the Dallas Cowboys as your child. They get a school card report, right? And they got a list of like They got a C for English, C for maths, C for physical education, right? You think that's still pretty good. But when you know that your student is capable of getting A pluses, you would be pissed off.
Mm.
And then I was like, you know what, J-Talk? That is a fantastic take, and I will applaud you in that one, because that is exactly how I kind of felt. Like, it's like our team has the potential to do amazing things, but we're not seeing it right now. We're winning, yeah, but it's not satisfying enough because we know we can do better. Like the drop passes, the interceptions, the holding calls, the missed blocks from the O-line, like it's more so on the offensive side of the ball. If you were if you were grading your child as the defense, yeah, you'll be like, my kid, yeah, A-star student, yeah, there we go, you know. So yeah, I thought that was a great take from Jay Talk. He posted that on his Instagram yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, we've won the last 2 games basically on the back of our defense putting us in short yardage, short field situations.
That's it.
Scoring points for us as well. I mean, I think we're the only team in the league that has 7 or 8 non-offensive touchdowns. Everybody else, or the closest rivals, about 3. So we've got 4 touchdowns more than anybody else that have come from defense and special teams.
Just comment there from Benny. That needs to play, but I totally agree, Benny. Thanks for swinging by. We totally agree. He just needs to get out of this
funk. Is it? Not funk.
Yeah, that's probably the right word for it. It's a funk, like brain fart. You know.
Yeah. To be fair, rather it now than just towards the end of the season.
Exactly. I'd rather, exactly, Jim. I'd rather it was happening now and you can rectify it before it gets really serious when we get into the playoffs.
Exactly.
Right. So
as we said, not only can we clinch the division, but we can clinch a playoff spot. Now, this is where it gets a bit brain messed up, so grab your beer. So here we go. So the Cowboys can clinch a playoff spot if we win, the Saints lose or tie. If we win, the Niners lose, or if we tie and the Vikings lose or tie, the Saints lose or tie, and the Falcons lose or tie. We can also clinch. Sorry, Paul. Here we go. If the Vikings lose, the Falcons lose, the Saints lose, the Washington and Eagles tie, or the Vikings lose, the Falcons lose, the Saints lose, and we get it based on the strength of victory tiebreak over the Eagles. Now, whose brain's messed up now?
I'm not gonna lie, but it sounds there's a lot of probability.
We've got more chance of winning the lottery this weekend, don't we?
No. What I'm saying is, as long as we win, there's a good chance that. Well, who's the Saints playing actually? Who are they playing?
The Saints this week. Let's have a look. So they have got fucking through the Saints. Tell her I looks at the wrong one. The Saints. Where are they? They've got the Bucks Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Bucks are going to win that game. Yeah.
The Vikings have got the Bears. That was another one.
Vikings will win that one, I think.
The Niners have got. It wasn't the Niners, were it? It was. So look, where was it? Who was the other one?
I mean, this is all based on the fact that this is having Washington win this week, and I don't, the latest report on Washington is that they've now got 21 players on COVID list.
Jeez.
And I think they've got about 9 or 10 players that are on their injury list as well. So they're talking about 30 players that they're potentially not going to be able to play with. The league has basically said the game's not cancelled. The only way it's not going to go ahead is if Washington has to forfeit.
Wow. Can you imagine? That would be nuts. Do you imagine if I think that would be the first? Like, when was the last ever forfeit? Guys, if you in the comments, like, if you can remember when the first, like, try not Google it if you can. Try not Google it. Like, it'd be really interesting to know your knowledge. But I don't know the answer. But if we can find out when the last ever forfeit was in the NFL, it'd be very interesting to see how long ago that was.
I think you'd probably be talking about depression type, going back to the 1930s, 1940s or something like that,
Yeah, definitely. It's like rare that happens, isn't it? So we've touched on everything. We've screwed our brains. So let's get in and let the boys chew the fat. Let's have a look. Let's talk about the offense.
Yeah. There we go.
So the last few weeks, as we all know, this offense hasn't really been firing all cylinders, but it's got to turn around at some point. Why not this week? And if you look at the stats, our offense is the second overall in the NFL.
And again, this is
fourth on passing, 6 on rushing against the Giants D, which is ranked 26th overall.
So that kind of goes back to my point. Well, not my point, J-Tuck's point about we're second overall. We're the second overall best offense in the league, but it doesn't feel like it right now.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Well, you know what I mean. So I'm kind of like, it kind of feels like we're like in the middle. Like, if you were to put the first 7 weeks together, yeah, we're number one overall, but it's been very up and go. Like, but it's all down to, like, we've got the potential, we've got the players, we've got the quarterback, we've got the running back, we've got the wide receivers. Like, obviously the weakest link is certain parts of the O-line, but still, but as a collective of all offense, we've got a fantastic offense, but it's like you say, we're not firing off all cylinders. It's, I mean, it doesn't feel like we're a number 2 offense, but we should be. We should be number 1, we should be top 5, but it just doesn't feel like it, you know? I don't know about you guys in the comments. Get your comments in, guys. What you guys feel like? Do you guys feel like we're number 2 offense? Where would you put us down right now? Not to try and dampen our offense right now, but it'd just be really interesting to see how everyone's comments and thoughts are about where do you think we stand in terms of all 32 teams within the NFL. So get your comments in.
So in terms of, sorry, I'm going to say, just in terms of where this game could be won and lost. So if we take this, it's going to be an offensive win. Where do you see the strength, or where do you think we need to play? Probably the best is probably the better way to say it with how this offense has been playing the last few weeks. Whereabouts on the offense is going to win the game for you guys?
I think this time the run game is going to be the more fundamental part. I think there's a reason why we're bringing Connor Williams back into the fold.
Yeah.
He is a much better run blocker than he is at pass protection. That's a fact. Although Connor Williams, not Connor McGovern, sorry, Connor Williams can still cause penalties. That's my only concern. I mean, you're basically kind of. We tried Connor McGovern, like there is potential in him, but I don't know if it's just at guard. I think he should have been playing at center. I don't know. If it's something that we will need to address in the off season, is the interior lineman position at left guard for sure. I think that's something we will need to consider going into the draft or free agency next year. Something, but but I think we will need to kind of like try and establish the run a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that will take the pressure off Dak a lot more. Try and make him feel more at ease, and that would kind of open up the doors more for the wide receivers, because if we start running the ball a lot more, I was trying to say the Bears, the Giants. Sorry, the Giants will probably fall in that same. Oh, it's going to be a run. Then next thing you know, just a wee simple pass, a wee simple slant pass to CD Lamb or something like that, or a post route from whoever, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's a touchdown. It's that element of surprise. It's just trying to keep their defense guessing. So
it also takes away from Dak having to think that he has to get everything on every play. Again, a lot of the passes recently have been, he's going for the 10, the 15-yard passes, basically because we've not been getting the yardage on offense through the running game. I think from all accounts, as Paul was saying, I think we do need to address obviously in your guard next year, because from all accounts, Conor McGovern is better as a right guard. And I mean, Mike McCarthy had said that during training camp as well. I think when people were asking if there was going to be anybody competing with Connor Williams, and he said, well, Conor McGovern's more of a right guard than anything else. So he'd be
and you and me know, especially like the difference between playing the left side to the right side is a completely different dynamic, different hip rotation. Like it's different perspective. You're like see if you're left-handed and you have to play on the right side, you're not going to feel as comfortable like using your weak hand to like palm, like get the hand on the chest plate for special and pass protection. It's not going to feel as effective. So there's all those different elements, your kick step, your first step for run blocks, everything. Like people think, oh, you can play if you're playing O-line, you should be able to play all across the board. Yeah, if you're a bloody Captain America, yeah. But in reality, it's not so simple. It's and what you're kind of saying there, Lauren, when we had St. Martin moved out to tackle last year for that one game and McGovern stepped in at right guard, you could see the difference in confidence compared to him playing at right guard and compared to him at left guard. There's a big difference. Like McGovern was balling at right guard, even though St. Martin was playing at right tackle, and even St. Martin says, I hate playing tackle. I don't want to be playing on the left. Stick me at right guard. And there's a reason for that. It's what they're comfortable with. It's what they specialize their craft in. And that's it.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I think again, I think we need to realize that this Great Wall of Dallas, that this incarnation,
the monitor we've created,
is coming towards the end anyway now, and I think we do need to start looking at turning
version
it over.
3.
And I mean, one of the reasons why Jason Garrett was fired, by all accounts, is that he was asked by reporters why the Giants' offense hasn't been able to get a standing, and he basically came out and said, well, that the Giants haven't put any money into their offensive line. They haven't put any draft capital into the offensive line, and it was the front office that took offense to that. And I don't think it was a Matt Rule decision to fire him. But
so this is where I'm going to throw some shade at the Giants here, right? I'm going to first when you had the opportunity to pick of all the players in that draft that year, you decided to go for Daniel Jones. Of all the offensive linemen they had in that draft as well, you decided to go for Daniel Jones. Even though they needed a quarterback, yes, but they could have picked up a quarterback who could still fall under Eli, which, to be perfectly honest, is probably not much of a stretch anyway. I know he's won 2 Super Bowls, but I still don't think he's a great quarterback. But that's just my personal opinion. But the fact is that David Gettleman he's trying to be like the Jerry Jones of the draft. He's trying to make controversy. He's not thinking straight.
To be fair as well, they could have traded down, to be fair, for Daniel
That's
Jones.
it. They could have traded.
That's the worst thing. Yeah. That was a reach. Where they
it was even what's his name? Who was the other quarterback that eventually went to Washington? What was his name? Dwayne Haskins. Like he was the best quarterback in that. Like he was the better quarterback by a country mile. It was just a shame that he was just put in that situation where he was drafted by Washington, a team that he never wanted to go to. Like, I'm trying to be sympathetic to the player rather than the team. Like, because there's you only get one shot when you're coming out of college, and you better answer that phone, whatever team comes up and pick you, because like you're not guaranteed to play for your favorite team. Like Micah Parsons is like in cloud nine the fact that he's playing for the team that he wants to play for, and that's a bonus for us. Like, of all the years, have you seen? Like, I know I'm jumping way off topic here once again, and I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of the draft, how many players have we seen before the actual draft happens? It's like Dallas, Jerry Jones, come and pick me. Myles Garrett was one of them. Melvin Gordon was the other. There was cornerbacks. Darren James was one of them as well. Do you imagine? Like, there's a reason why people want to play for Dallas. Like, yeah, like, it's more glitzy, glamour, whatever we want to call it, but it's when your heart's set on, like, a player can. I don't know where I'm going with this now. I'm sorry, but I completely went off the rails here, so I'll stop talking.
Just touching back on the offensive line, and I know we discussed it a little bit at the start of last week. Just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, just because we know we've got the issues there, and I touched on this. I don't know what you guys think, and we're clearly not going to get to see it this week because Tyron Smith's out. I mentioned that now we've got Lyle Collins back. I would have liked, especially getting into the playoffs, because, like you say, during the season you can test this a little bit, see if this works, see if that works. And left guard's clearly been the biggest problem this year.
Yeah,
I said all along that I would love to see Lyle Collins moved over because it beefs up that inside a little bit more, and because of how well Terrence Steele been playing, keep putting to right tackle. So I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, I preferred Steele playing on the right hand side, and don't forget, Lyle Collins has played a lot on the left. Like, he played the majority of his career on the left in college at LSU. So I don't see, like, I think the biggest struggle for Collins was actually moving from the left to the right, and that's in that process. But I think he'll be okay if he was to go back to the left anyway. So, and Steele, like, yeah, I mean, but you kind of burst, like, I will say this though, Jamie. I think center, we will need to look at center as well. Like, I was watching some of the game film, and there was a couple of video clips that was on Twitter and stuff like that, and I couldn't believe what I watched. Basically, I think there's a miscommunication within the O-line, especially. There was one play in particular where it looked as though it was going to be a double team on the A gap, but with Bayadish and McGovern. But the way how it was positioned, Bayadish actually stepped in front of McGovern, and McGovern bounced off Bayadish and tumbled and missed the block, and Bayadish actually screwed it up. So there's that worries me quite a lot, and that's within the interior for the A gap. They shouldn't, like, Bayadish should be directing and saying that's my block, but or whatever. Like, they need to have the communication better, and I think that's the same all across the board, not just in O-line but across the offense. I think the communication part is definitely kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting this week with Jerry's comments on 105.3, and I think today on Talking Cowboys they had a lively discussion about this. Jerry asked, does he think, would he like to see Steele or Collins at right tackle? And Jerry has actually said, I don't care who plays there now. Normally, if Lyle was his man, he would be jumping up and down saying Lyle will be starting at right tackle and all that.
Yeah, there's a good reason why Jerry's saying that, and that's because of the whole fiasco at the start of the season. Like, Lyle Collins has definitely put himself out of favor within the organization with that. So, and the fans have kind of are pissed off with him in regards to that, because we were backing him until we actually found out the reasons why. Because we thought the NFL made this whole new rule up. It was a 7-game suspension. Was it 5-game or 7?
5 games he got suspended for,
which was not in the rule book, because it was 2 game, 4 game, and 8 game. Then anything after that is season. Then after that, there's indefinite. So, and we're like, the NFL is just making this up, blah 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 blah. But because this was a complete out of the box, non-protocol ruling, and we found out what the reasons why, I'd be pissed off too. If I was Jerry Jones and I found out what Lyle Collins did, I'd be like, what the fuck, you know? So,
right before we jump onto the defense, I want a one-word answer from you both, and then we'll move on. Does Dak come out of his slump this week? Yes or no? Take it away. One-word answer.
Yes.
No.
Ooh.
No.
Go on, Paul. Go then. On that note, switch on. Let's move on.
No, like, don't move on yet. Like, I want to kind of. Like,
you want to back us up, don't you? You want to back up.
I will say it will definitely improve, but I think because how tender how our wide receivers have been, especially Lamb right now, like has missed drop passes and just the decision making. I think there will be a minor improvement, but I don't think we're going to be fully there yet. I think after the Giants game, that's when I think this game against Washington will be the one that I will say that will come out the slump, because it will be home field advantage.
We'll let you have that one there. Maybe that come on. We'll let him have it.
Yeah, good.
So we're ready to move on defense then?
Right, let's move on.
Yep.
Okay. All right, hold on.
So this one surprised me a little bit. We're looking through the stats, to be fair. I just think I think it's more so because of how well the front four have been playing, and Diggs and also Micah Parsons. The Cowboys are 20th ranked 20th in passing and 20th. Where is it? No. Yeah, 20. I've not even written down right, so just ignore that. But yeah, they're not as high as I would have expected them to be anyway. I've not written them down right. What do you reckon? Do you reckon this is the game where it's just going to be an absolute brutality, that it's going to be sacks galore, interceptions galore, pick sixes, all that kind of shit?
I will say one thing. I've got my hot take, and I think you guys know exactly what player I'm talking about. Who's my boy? Who's my boy in the team?
I tell you what, I bet you loved that last week.
Mate, I was screaming. So if anyone doesn't know who my boy is, I am rooting for this guy. I've wanted this guy for the Cowboys before we even drafted him, and that's Mr. Neville Gallimore. The fact he came back from injury and got a good sack, I'm doubling down. He's going to get a sack, and he's going to get 2 tackles for losses in this game, at least. Yep. That's my hot take for this game.
Yeah, I mean, where's the game going to be won on defense this week?
Oh, I think it is going to. I think it is going to be the front seven, because I mean, take away Barkley, and then obviously you're putting the game into Glennon's hands. So this defensive line that is back to full strength. You've got Gallimore, you've got Tristan Hill, you've got D-Law, you've got Gregory,
Randy.
you've got Micah Parsons, who I really do think he will be in the. I mean, there's an article tonight about listing the top 10 defensive candidates for the main defensive rookie player of the year, and Parsons is listed there. I think he, as we've talked about, I mean, couple of interceptions and that would probably seal it for him.
I'll tell you, Lauren, right? I am willing to put £50, which is about $80 on Parsons to win Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. I am willing to put that money on that.
I'm toying with it as well, actually. So
who's the only one? I think we're all in agreement now with it. it's nailed on. He's going to get Rookie of the Year.
I mean, he's walking about at the Star in Bristol with the Pepsi Championship belts of the Rookie of the Week. He's looking like Ric Flair right now, you know.
Like, who would you say that would, if anybody, could potentially get him taking it overall?
And the defensive player of the year,
you reckon maybe Aaron Donald kind of thing, or
the closest? Well, I mentioned this on the post-game show with Brian and Graham and Rich. The closest player I could think of is Myles Garrett for the Browns. That's the only guy I can think of. And
Myles Garrett or TJ Watt. TJ Watt has done. He's leading in sacks and over Parsons. And he's done it in 2 less games. There was 2 games where he was out, either COVID or injury. You know, but what the argument for Parsons is that, and we've discussed it the last couple of weeks as well, is that Parsons is being used as a linebacker a hell of a lot more than TJ Watt is. And obviously Myles Garrett is pure defensive end. As a result, the number of times that Parsons has actually been called on to blitz or actually rush the passer, he has the highest strike rate, as you might want to call it. He has the highest strike rate of this of anybody in this league. You know, he's getting there more times than a greater percentage of the time that he's rushing than anybody else. Garrett obviously is playing every single snap and trying to rush the passer. Parsons has been used selectively. So,
I mean, the other name in the books you could also mention as well, and DJ Daw mentioned, is also Aaron Donald. But the other guy I really want to think like there could be another person from the Dallas Cowboys, Trevon Diggs. Like he could actually set the record. He could set the record. He could potentially set a record of interceptions per season. He could.
Yep.
It's there for the taking. He has been playing some really good shutdown football. He's been shutting down a lot of wide receivers. Don't get me wrong, he's made maybe 1 or 2 couple of mistakes as well. I mean, who hasn't? Like every player goes from that little moment of concentration where they get caught out. But I mean, Diggs' name should be in the contention lane as well for 100%.
Yep.
Whereabouts on this defense scares you this week? If this came down to the nitty-gritty, where do you think this could be lost on the defensive side? Not to put a damper on it, I think we're all, but as I say, it's a division game. Everyone's underestimating the Giants. That's where a little bit inconsistency comes in, doesn't it? So where's that issue for you guys this week?
I think we can all share the same opinion. I think it's going to be on the weak side of the corner and on Anthony Brown. I think.
Yep.
I think that's going to be the most obvious scenario. It really depends who we've got rotated in alongside Parsons at linebacker as well. If LVE is going to be in, depends whoever. I mean, there's that potential as well. But I have no qualms or problems with whoever we have in our D line right now. Like, I've never been so happy about our defensive line right now compared to last year. It's like, I just wish my hair would grow back that I'm not happy. You know what I mean? Because a wee word for thought, like, how many times did we say, like, even though Dorrance Armstrong makes the team, but we never really see him do much. This has been his best year, like, since he's actually been on the team, since he, like we're actually hearing his name getting mentioned by the commentary a lot more. He's making plays, he's causing disruptions. So, yeah.
Yep.
And
100% agree with that. So,
yep. And DJ Dawber and a nice wee comment there. Everson Walls has the Dallas rookie record of 11 interceptions. That could definitely, That's the rookie record. So
that is also the team. That is also the team record as well. But the league
I never knew that. Okay.
The league record is something like 14, I think. If I remember
Diggs
rightly.
is on what right now?
9.
9.
The Cowboys will definitely go this year.
Yeah, I mean, so how many games we've got? What? 3 games left.
We're 9 and 4, so that's 5. Is that 15? We've still got 4 games left. Yeah,
4 games
4
left.
games.
So this is week 15 coming up, or 14.
15.
Right.
15.
Because there was the bye week, of course.
Right.
So
okay, so the most interceptions in a single season, you go back to 1952, and it's Dick Night Train Lane. If you've ever heard his name.
unfortunately, I have not.
And then there's 3 guys with 13. The most recent being Lester Hayes of the Oakland Raiders back in 1980.
So from the even from the last Super Bowl we won, this has probably been the highest amount of interceptions at this rate we've seen it in a long, long time. So again, this kind of goes back to my point, especially how the game's evolved right now, which is a lot more faster paced, a lot more complicated, and the fact that Dix is out there making plays. He is making plays. So his name definitely needs to be within the contention hat for sure.
What I would say about Anthony Brown is he needs to get back in front of the jugs machine this week, because he had a couple of chances of interceptions last week.
He did. And funny that you mentioned that as well. Especially like making chances and making plays is Jordan Lewis, who had his best game last week. I feel like, and Brian made a great point. It's like he's that type of player. You'll have that one game out of 4, he will be more of a standout, and that. And unfortunately, I agree with him. And I can see why Dallas brought him back in for games like that. Like, if he can play more consistently like that, can you imagine? Like, no offense would want to play us at all.
No, definitely. Right. So let's get into some shout outs, and then we'll get into a little bit.
Yes.
Wrap it up. So I'll let you guys take it away.
Remember, we need to do the fantasy lounge as well. Don't forget that.
I've got some down for you boys. Don't you worry. I've got something to tickle your fancy.
Yeah. So we want to give a wee shout out to UK Cowboys fan Mike Bull, who I was with at Kansas City and at the Thanksgiving game. He's actually went back home and he's flying back to New York as of right now. So guys, if you go on to our social media, we'll give him a wee mention on the social media. If you do see Mike, give him a wee hello, make him feel welcome. All the guys in the States, if you're going to the game, like, because he's been a member of the UK Cowboys fans since the very beginning, pretty much. He was there in London 2014, all that time. So be sure to go and say a wee hello, and go and kick it up, Mike. Hope you have a great time and bring back the win.
I think anybody who's wherever you are, if you go into a game, get in touch social media on here, grab one of us. If it's not the UK Cowboys ones, his own personal ones, let us know. We'll obviously, like I say, we'll shout you out, let everybody know whereabouts you are. If you're watching at home on a game day, just tweet us some pics, post in the group. Let us see if you're watching this. Get a cell phone. We'll whack it across everything across social media. We want to show why this fan base is the best fan base.
As we keep saying here at UK Cowboys, it's not just America's team; it's the world's team, and that's a fact.
Right. Let's pay the bills. Let's give some shout outs for content, and then we'll get we'll fancy everything else.
Yep. So, guys, if you are planning on to a game this year, and obviously planning for next year, be sure to go to cowboysexperience.com, where you get the ultimate meet and greet tailgate and game day packages, where you get to meet former players, current players, former cheerleaders, name balling for per se, Drew Pearson, Zach Martin, Travis Fedre, Michael Gallup, as you can see in the pictures there. Ed Tuttle Jones, Kenny Gann, Lincoln Coleman, even Micah Parsons is now part of the Cowboys Experience team, so you'll get to see him at some game days. Jalen Kearse, who I got the pleasure to meet there back before the Raiders game, really nice guy. But if you go to the website and use the discount code UK Cowboys, guys, what do we get if we use the discount code?
You get Free stuff.
Free stuff, guys. And by free stuff, you get free memorabilia. It could be from signed photos. It could be from game day magazines. That those wee small things like you can treasure for a long time when you go to the game. That comes part of your package. So, guys, be sure to go. And not just that, Barry and Michael of Cowboys Vision, they treat, like, especially for me and Jamie and Lauren, or who used to be pretty much the what was the co-starters of UK Cowboys. Our co-founder, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. We cannot say nothing but the highest praise for Barry and that. They treat us like absolute royalty, and the same goes and the same goes with anyone from the UK, because they, if anyone realizes, I mean, like the American fans, how they treat us is like they love the idea that we travel over 4,000 miles for a football game. And it's just, awesome.
While we're shouting at Barry, we should wish him happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Barry. Yeah, man, happy birthday. Big shout out to Barry, man. So Barry Griffith, man, happy birthday, bro.
And should we whack out some content providers shout outs as well?
Yep, sure thing. So guys, be sure to also go and check out our fellow content creators as well, man. As you can see, we've got our sponsor Cowboys Experience there, but be sure to go and check out like the 105.3 The Fan, all the official Cowboys channels, Hanging with the Boys, Talking Cowboys, The Break, the SB Nation guys, Official America's Team, Cowboys Zone, Bluff City Cowboys, J Tuck's Cowboys Phones Only, Big Game James, Katie Funhouse, in Star Gang with Nix and stuff and co. Man, guys, they're doing a great job providing content. We're all helping each other out. Be sure to go and give them a wee follow as well.
I think the only last thing, only because Long put it into our private chat, isn't it, that we've if anybody's been looking in the groups the last few weeks, been tuning into the guys on the shows. We've got the Super Bowl party is booked. Well, fingers crossed, touch wood, we are booked for Glasgow. But as we know, this new strain of COVID is hitting the world. And Launch just let us know that apparently the news over here is broken that the Welsh government has mandated that nightclubs close after Boxing Day. So this could affect the Super Bowl party, but keep it booked. It's obviously we need to make sure everybody's safe. So
it's the likelihood. I will say the likelihood is more probably. Now it's not going to happen, but like you said, Jamie, touch wood, things can go plan ahead, because we would love to see all you guys come up to Glasgow and hopefully if it's the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Again, touch wood, we can have a big, massive party and celebrate like our first Super Bowl and God, what?
27 years.
27 years or
something.
Something like that. Yeah, 90, no, it'll be what? No, it'll be
95, 96. Was it not 95, 96? So
it'll be over 25. It'll be over 28. I can't do math. It's so late at night. I can't. Sorry, guys.
No, actually, because we've talked about COVID and shit. Yeah, let's get off that and let's do the fun part, guys.
Everybody,
get joined in. We'll explain the rules. We play this every single week. Let's get some fantasy football.
Fantasy time.
So as we mentioned, get your comments in. Let us know what your thoughts are. If you've not tuned in before to this segment, we go based on what these players are going to get or being predicted fantasy football wise, and we try to predict if they're going to get more or less. If you think they're going to get more, give us a comment of boy or boy. If you think it's going to be less, give us oh boy. So to start off,
and also get your score predictions in as well.
Oh yes, be sure to get your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Because we see you in the comments, DG Dog, Benny, Joe. Who else is here watching?
Dave Ironside.
Dave Ironside is here. Valenti, I know you've got a storyline. Get the scorelines in, guys.
So, do you want to go for this week? Should we start with a Cowboys player or should we start with a Giants player? What do you
know what? Let's mix it up. Let's start with the Giants because we always do start with our own team because we are the away team. So, let's give them,
Great. So we've touched on they are going to have more than likely going to have a quarterback change this weekend. Mike Glennon's likely going to start for the Giants. 11 fantasy points that he is predicted to get against the Cowboys this week. What do you reckon?
I think I'm actually going to say, oh boy, I think he's trying to get less than that.
Yeah.
Because the more I think about it, especially how our ball hawk secondary, our tenacity, hard-driven defensive line are going to be, I think it's going to be very hard to put any yards on against us. The only thing that's going to cause us any disruption is their run game, I think. So I think Glennon is going to fumble it up. I think he's going to throw a couple of picks. I don't think he's going to make massive gains in yards. So I think it's going to be less than 11 points. So, oh boy for me. And Joe has already commented, oh boy. Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm going oh boy on that as well, but I think it'll be 9 points or so.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. It was like between the 8 and 9 points because I think what was it? I can't remember what quarterback it was. It was, oh god, who have I got in my fantasy team? It's my backup quarterback. But basically, he only got 7 points, pretty much, and I was like, oh, for goodness sake. But I can't remember. I can't remember if it was Kirk Cousins or not. I can't remember. But it was someone that had an absolute shocker. And it's someone you would expect, and it was someone that you would expect to get 20 plus points, and they only got 7. So it just shows.
Yep.
Right. So sticking on the quarterback theme, let's stick with our one and only Jack. 18 fantasy points this week he's predicted.
18 fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren, do you want to go over this one first?
Well, we've normally gone oh boy. We've normally gone boy oh boy when it's been 20 fantasy points. I'm going to push on this one. I think it's probably going to be about right. So
I'm marginally going to say oh boy, unfortunately, because I think we're going to be utilizing the run game a lot more.
Yep.
That's my only reason behind it. And I want to back up my earlier comments because I still think that is still going to cause maybe 1 or 2 mistakes. He will improve in this game for sure because of what the Giants are, but I still think it's still going to be less than, what was it, 18 fantasy points?
18, yeah.
I'm going to say, if you were going to say 16 fantasy points, then I think I would be right on the ballpark. So that's why I'm saying, oh boy. Joe again going for oh boy. Yep.
Speaking of the run game, 15 fantasy points is Barkley for the Giants. That's a tough one, that, because although he has been niggling, he's going to be the focal point of their offense this week, isn't he? So it's either going to be I'll just throw this one out for you. It's either going to be a lot more than 15 because he balls out this week, or it's going to be a shitload less because the front seven just completely shut him down.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, Jamie. I think it's going to be an absolute oh boy on this one.
I think it's oh boy. I mean, you think of what he's done in the past against us. I mean, I think the only big run that he has had was a couple of years back where he had a 60 yarder, and then the rest of the game he was kept in check. And I don't even last year when we were,
he's not the same after that injury. He's not the same.
Even last year I don't think he played last year against us because I don't think we played until later on in the season after he'd gone out. So. I think if the Cowboys can play the same way that we played Gibson last week, for Washington.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely an old boy.
yeah, because I like for me, I definitely think it's going to be an old boy, purely because just the strength of our front seven, purely because of that. Like Parsons is going to read him a lot. Like, I think Parsons is going to like just absolutely dismantle Barkley. I really do, and and I don't like if those 15 fantasy points that you mentioned. I don't see the Giants being in the red zone from passing yards, if that's the case. And to make up those 15 points, you're talking about 30 yards and 2 touchdowns will make up your 15 essentially. That to me doesn't really cut the mustard. I don't think that's realistic in this scenario. And I don't see 90 yards and 1 touchdown or 150 yards. So I'm definitely saying, oh boy, on that.
Yep.
I'll throw you 2 more out there, but we'll go with Cowboys. So the first one, our very own Feed the Zeke, 14 points.
I'm going to say level. If not, I think that's a fair estimate, to be honest. Potentially, in fact, actually, you know what? I'm going to say boy, oh boy, actually, based on red zone. Based on red zone.
Yeah,
It's a tough one, Lauren. I think 14 is a good estimate, but I think I'm just trying to think, depending on what the situation is. If we're really managed to get ourselves into the red zone, I would expect us to give the ball to Zeke to punch it in the end zone, smash it, like especially with Leonard Williams out the game, run that ball through the middle. So and that's another key factor as well. Is the fact that our starting defensive tackle is out for this game. So, and that's going to help us elevate this run game even more so.
Yeah, I think the return of Connor Williams, the only thing with Zeke is obviously he's now wearing a knee brace. He's actually come out and said he'll be wearing it again this week. He's saying he is getting closer and closer to being 100%, and he's earned the right that he can play through injury. I think if the game gets out of hand, I think that's when you hand it over to whoever's running.
It'll be Hardy or Clement.
Hardy and Clement. I don't. From what I can see, Pollard didn't practice yesterday. He was doing the rehab stuff again yesterday, and yesterday was only a walkthrough. So I think it's going to be Zeke, Corey Clement, and Hardy. Maybe you might even see Ito Smith because obviously
he's just been on special teams pretty much this whole year. So
no, we only picked him up last week. So,
oh no, sorry, from practice squad. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting mixed up here. I got mixed up with Hardy there.
You'll maybe see him being used this week, but certainly short yardage. If it's punching it in at the goal line, I think it's going to be Zeke. And as long as that leg, he doesn't take anything else to the leg, I think, again, another 45 yards or so for him. And, it's probably about right. Yeah, I'll say it's, I'll push on that one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Before we get into the last one, everybody watching at home, get your comments in terms of score lines, because we will wrap this up.
Yep.
Very short. So have a think about what you think this week.
Well,
so the last one then for fantasy football this week, we'll give some love to the Titans this week.
Oh yeah,
Dalton Schultz predicted 9 points. Is he going to get less or are he going to get more? I think this is the perfect game to get him more. Yeah, to get him a lot of yards this week.
I'll go boy oh boy on that one, because I think the focus will be on getting Dak comfortable with this offense again, and that will be short passes, not looking for the deep balls, and therefore it's going to be across the middle. It's going to be sort of Y option, that sort of thing that you're going to see from the tight end. And I think Schultz, Yeah, Schultz needs to work on making sure that he catches the ball. He's had a few drops as well recently, but I think there's all potential. I mean, against the Giants, Cowboys tight ends tend to be killers anyway. You only have to look at Jarwin the last couple of years, and then I think Schultz had a major game against them last year as well. So yeah, I'm going Boyle on that one.
You reckon, Paul?
I honestly don't know, to be perfectly honest. I'm a bit stuck with this one.
I'll throw a little spanner, which you can't say a level either. You've been a bit of a homer tonight, and you've which you can't I'm not for a few, so let's force you here, and let's gotta go over above. You can't stay in the middle this time. Slogged you both.
I'll say boy, but only just. Right, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's all based on the situation where we're. It's hard to. I think Schultz really comes out based on how the situation is and how we are moving the ball offensively in general. So if we're not really moving the ball very well, we're not getting that fluidity as much with the tight ends. So, and I think that's more of the mental preparation more than anything, rather than just. Yeah, because we saw that. I mean, not to. I sound like I'm Mr. Negative tonight, which I'm not. Like I have every guarantee we're going to win this game by a long shot. Like we're going to dominate this game, definitely on the defensive side of the ball. But I'm just kind of like, after watching the miscommunication between Dak and Schultz for that interception pick 6, it just kind of left a couple of question marks in the back of my mind. But for this benefit, I will say boy, just to kind of prove me wrong, pretty much.
Right, so that puts a nice finish to our fantasy football. Like we said this week, the Cowboys Giants 6 p.m. UK time for all the Game
Thank God, it's a decent time
for all the Game Pass subscribers out there. This one is not on Sky Sports this week, and if you haven't got Game Pass, fear not. Join us on Twitter. We will be covering the game live as we do every week. So come in and join in on there. So to finish off, I'll give you mine first, but everybody join in at home, and then I'll let you guys discuss.
Oh yeah, guys, get your store. Guys, this is your last chance. Get your store predictions in. I see Joe has his store prediction in. Do you want me to do? We'll do our scores first, then let the comments come in.
We'll go through
right. So don't worry, Joe. I will display your score. But guys, everyone else is watching. Get your score predictions for the game, and let us know what you think. How the Cowboys are going to win.
Give you guys a couple more minutes seconds to.
Oh no, I know what I'm saying.
I think
it's going to be a blowout. I'm going 37-10 to the Cowboys.
That's kind of near enough the ballpark I was kind of thinking, but I'm thinking more in the lines of 35-7.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I think Giants last 3 weeks since they got rid of Jason Garrett have averaged 12 points. So I'll say 12 for the Giants, and I'm going to go 39 for the Cowboys. So 39-12.
Okay.
What we got in the comments, Paul?
So far, it's just we've only got Joe's score line at the moment, and he's going it big for this one. He's went 45. New York midgets.
Yes. Joe's throwing out the big win and the shade.
Yeah, Joe, like that's the comment of tonight. The New York midgets. Yeah, that's the comment of tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
If we've got no more, then we might as well wrap it up. But thank you everybody for tuning in, for your comments, to my two brothers for your great insight as always. So from me, peace out and stay safe. Make sure you tune in to Brian and the guys on Tuesday to look back at the game. But yeah, so you two guys, take it away.
Thanks. Thanks again, guys. Let's for Cowboys. Let's get this win and guarantee playoffs. Hopefully.
Yep. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Cheering on the Cowboys victory. break out the NFC East hats this weekend, put them away on Tuesday, and move on to get the first round bye.